In this video I will show step by step how you can download and compile Cheat Engine, its driver and hypervisor, how you can modify them so they won't get blocked by anti-cheats anymore, and how you can use different bypasses to access the game's memory even though that the anti-cheat is running. The methods that I will show in this video are working with most if not all anti-cheats like Battleeye, EasyAnticheat and even Vanguard at this point. Also, don't worry if you don't know how to code or program, this tutorial will be beginner level, so it should be possible to follow all the steps in this video without any issues. So first you need to download Cheat Engine on this website here. You can get the latest source code if you click on code and download zip. Some versions have bugs and issues, so if you want an earlier version of Cheat Engine, just click on commits, and this way you can click on this version or this version, which is the previous version instead. Just click on these arrows, and now you can also click on code and download zip again to get this version's source code. In my case, the latest version is working fine, so if you want to use the same version as me, just click on commits and go to this version here on June the 20th, so you can just click on this arrow, click on code and download the zip here. Now you can drag and drop the source code to your desktop, just open it with WinRAR and drag and drop the Cheat Engine folder to your desktop. So now you have the Cheat Engine source code downloaded and we want to make an exe out of the source code. In order to do this, we need the Lazarus compiler for Cheat Engine. You can just download it on this website. Click on Windows 32-bit add-ons. This way you can get the latest version of Lazarus plus the 64-bit cross add-on. So we want to install or download and install this version first. Just click on it. Then hit save. Go back and download the other version, which is the Win64 Win32.exe next. Also save this one. Okay, both Lazarus versions have been downloaded. Install the Win32.exe first. Alright, then we click finish and install the second cross plugin instead. Then just click finish, and now you can remove both files. Okay, next go inside your Cheat Engine folder. Go inside Cheat Engine again, and inside the dbk32 folder. Here you will find the dbk32 function.pas file. You can open it up with editor, and I will use Notepad++ for this. And inside this file you want to search for the string dbk32.sys. which is down here. So dbk64 and dbk32 is the name of the Cheat Engine driver. Many anti-cheats block this driver name from running, so for example if EasyAnticheat or Battleeye finds out that you try to launch a driver named dbk64 or 32, they will most likely block it. So in order to bypass that, you can just change the name to anything you want. In my case I will change it to mynewdriver.sys. And I will choose 64 for the 64-bit version, and for the 32 version I will use mynewdriver32. And also make sure to change the service name from CE driver32 to something random you want. Also, when I say that you can use any driver name you want, don't use actually the same driver name as me in this video, because maybe some anti-cheats will block this driver name manually now from running. So I doubt that, but if you want to be sure, just don't use the same names as I do in this video. Alright, then just save this file and close it again. Then we go back inside the Cheat Engine folder, and here we scroll down a bit until we find the file name cheatengine.lpi, this here. You should be able to open up this file with double click, and you should see Lazarus running. And if you don't have this Object Inspector window, you can just go to View and click on Object Inspector window. This way this should also show up. Inside this window you want to scroll up to tMainForm. Just click on it once. And here you should see Caption and Cheat Engine, which is the title name of the program Cheat Engine. I want to change that also to something random. So also don't use the same name as me in this video, just choose a random name you want. I will also use my new engine in this case. So after you did that, you go just to Project Options. Inside here you also want to change the title name to something random. I will use my new engine again. I will also change the name here down to my new engine. And in version info, I change the name to my new engine. You can also change the build number to something random. And inside paths, you want to choose release 32 first and change the cheat engine string here to also something random. Same with this version. And same with this one. Oh, and actually one more thing, go back to application, and here you can clear the icon. If you don't have an icon, that's no problem, you can just leave it like that. So if you want to download a custom icon, you can just go to Google, search for download.ico and search any icon you want. In my case, I will just use this one here and click on visit. Also make sure that you really download an ICO file and not an PNG or JPEG file. Then I just close this here, go to load icon, downloads, and choose the downloaded icon. Also we can change the size here, and that's it. Then just go to run, compile many modes, and here you can choose the versions you want to compile. In my case I will only compile the 64-bit version because in my case the 32-bit version doesn't compile, it gives an error message. Which happens sometimes in Cheat Engine, so if you also get an error message trying to compile this version, just leave it like that. Also, as already said at the beginning, some versions of Cheat Engine won't compile and have issues and error messages, so if that happens, just download a previous version of Cheat Engine, do all the steps as explained before, and then hit OK. Okay, both versions have been compiled, then just click OK. And now we can close these windows again. Go back inside your Cheat Engine folder. Inside Cheat Engine again. Bin. And here you will find the compiled my new engine files, and if you open it up, you can see that it's working fine. So in our case, you can still see the name Cheat Engine. Also here, everything is still named Cheat Engine. And some anti-cheats may detect the Cheat Engine string by signature. So in order to change the name from Cheat Engine to something else, we need another program which is named HXD. Just go to Google again and search for HXD download. You will find this website. Scroll on a bit and you can download here the version you want. In my case, I already have this installed, so I don't have to do this anymore. I can just open it up and it looks like this. So what you want to do now is choose which of these two versions you want to use. Preferably you want to use this one because as far as I know it's using a newer Intel instruction, so this might be slightly better for you. Just check first if this version is running for you. If it doesn't, you can use this version instead, which is no problem. But if this works, you will choose this version. So then just drag and drop the program inside HXD. And inside here we can change the cheat engine name to something else. Just go to search and hit replace. And inside here you can change the name cheat engine to something else you want. Just choose any name you want. And as already said, don't use the same name as I do in this video. Just choose something different. And you have to make sure this time that it has the same amount of letters and same amount of spaces in between than cheat engine. So for example, I will use my new engine. The word my new has also 5 letters, just like cheat, and engine is the same. So really make sure that this has the same amount of letters and spaces, otherwise this program won't open up anymore. Also make sure to hit all and case sensitive, then just click on replace all. Then go to search again and replace. This time we will do it lowercase. And hit replace all again. And one more time without any space in between. And again with uppercase. Okay, now we change the setting to Unicode instead and also replace all. Then just do a space in between. And that's all you have to do. Then we just save this file. And now if you open it up, and you might get this error message, which is completely normal after modifying it with HXD. And as you can see, everything has been renamed to my new engine, also in this tab, same here. So this is fine now. So if you want to make Cheat Engine even more undetected against some signature checks, you can use VMProtect for that. I will provide you with the download for this program in the description below. So in your case, just drag and drop the Cheat Engine version you want to use inside VMProtect and wait a second. And inside here, you want to click on Add Function, click on Entry Point, go to Options and make sure this says Ultra. Just double click it and click on Add Function. Now we go to Options and make sure everything in here is like this. Then just click on this arrow to compile. Okay, then just click on No. Close VMProtect again. So after that, you should be able to see the VMProtected exe instead. And if this is working for you, always use this over these two other versions, because as already said, this will change the signature and might be more secure against some anti-cheats. So in my case, it's working fine, which means that I will use the VMProtected file instead than these two other versions. If it doesn't work for you, that's not a big of a deal, you can still use these other two versions instead, but preferable, this version is a slightly bit more secure than these two other versions. So one more thing you can do if you are really concerned about string or signature detection, you can go to this link and copy this Lua script. It basically replaces all strings in Cheat Engine with something different. Just go to Tools, Lua Engine, paste it here and click Execute. And as you can see, most if not all strings in Cheat Engine have been renamed with something completely different now. So a signature detection might be less likely. So after you changed all the Cheat Engine strings to something else and also use VMProtect, you should be able to attach Cheat Engine to most if not all games that don't use any kernel anti-cheat. So as long as the game doesn't use, for example, EasyAnticheat or Battleeye, you can just attach Cheat Engine to the game. For example, League of Legends is using a good Usermode Anticheat. So as you can see, we are also able to read the memory of League of Legends just fine. And for example, we can scan for our health value now. So just enter the health, click first scan, and make sure to pause the game while scanning in League of Legends. Otherwise, League of Legends crashes because of debugger detection or something like that. So this will take a while now, just wait a second. So as you can see, we can just find the values in here without any crashes. We can also do the same with GTA 5 for example. And this time we uncheck this again, and if we search for something, you can see that it finds results and we are still able to read the memory just fine. But if we try to attach Cheat Engine to a game that is using a kernel anti-cheat right now, for example Dead by Daylight is using EasyAnticheat, you will see that we don't have any memory access at all right now, and we also won't be able to search anything in memory. This is because the anti-cheat is still blocking our user mode application from accessing the game's memory. In order to bypass that, we will need a driver, and Cheat Engine luckily has a driver, so we can just check all these 4 checkboxes here, go to kernel mode debugger, and this way the driver from Cheat Engine should start. In our case, we will get this error message here, which says that we don't have the driver yet. We also have to compile and modify the driver first in order to make it work with this game. And we will use this driver because the driver has an higher level access than our user mode application. So there are 2 methods that we can do in order to bypass the anti-cheat now. One method would be to just compile and modify the Cheat Engine driver, and the other method would be to use this bypass here, which is also using a driver. And I think this method works a lot faster and easier, but be careful, it is already detected for most if not all anti-cheats. So you won't get instant banned, but you might get banned after some time. So if you want to reverse and debug and just collect some offsets, I would suggest for you to use this program. And if you want to cheat and don't want to get banned or want to be more secure, then use the second method, which I will show later, which is basically compiling the cheat engine driver and modifying it. So how does this bypass work? You can inject a DLL inside any third-party tool you want, for example your external cheat or reclass or cheat engine. So this way your external cheat, which doesn't have access to the game's memory, will be able to read and write to the memory. So you don't have to actually compile all the stuff yourself if you don't want to, because I already have a folder here which has all the stuff that you need for this bypass to work. Otherwise, if you want to compile it yourself, you have to compile the DLL and the driver, and you will also need the KDU EXE file from this source. You can just download the KDU EXE here. So in my case, I will just download the folder, which I already did. So you will get all these files here, and in order for this to work, you have to make sure that you don't have any game and anti-cheat running, otherwise it will get blocked by the anti-cheat. So now just open up command prompt with admin permissions. Then we navigate inside this folder here with cd and then paste the folder path. And now we enter KDU exe-dc6 to change the driver signature enforcement. If you don't know what this means, just ignore it and do the same. And also we need to map the driver so that we can access the driver. Just enter KDU exe-map driver sys, so we map this driver here. If everything worked, you should see the same messages as me here. So now this is not everything we have to do in order for this bypass to work, because if you try to attach cheat engine to the game now, you will see that we still don't have access to the memory and we also can't search for anything. So we have to do one more thing: attach cheat engine itself using cheat engine, then go inside memory view, tools, inject DLL, and now we want to choose the DLL.dll from the KDMapper folder and inject it into cheat engine and press yes. So if we try to reattach to the game now, you will see that we have memory access now, and we also can go to the base address. So this is working fine. We also can scan for memory, and this way we have memory access and read and write access. If you want to do the same with reclass, just open up reclass with admin permissions. And now if you try to read this memory address from the game using reclass and attach reclass to ARMA3, you also can see that we don't have any access at all right now. So what we have to do is attach cheat engine to reclass and go inside memory view again. Then go to tools, inject DLL, and inject also the DLL from the KDMapper folder into reclass. And as you can see, at this point it didn't work, because sometimes you can't have the DLL injected into cheat engine and also into reclass. So in this case, just restart cheat engine and unload the DLL this way. So now if we try to inject the DLL into reclass again, it should work without issues. Alright, so this time it worked. And if we reattach reclass to the game now, you can see that we are able to read the memory fine without issues. So we are able to read and write to the memory just fine, but there is one issue, because if we try to toggle a breakpoint, you will see that we get the couldn't attach error message. Same if we try to find out what is accessing or writing to a certain address. So this doesn't work, because we still need the cheat engine driver for this to work, because the normal Windows debugger isn't able to attach to the process because of the anti-cheat. So if you don't only want to have read and write access, but also find out what is accessing a certain address and want to debug stuff, you will additionally need the cheat engine driver, which I will show you how you can compile now. So, and for the other method, basically compiling the cheat engine driver, you will need Visual Studio 2019, which you can get on this website. Normally this website looks a bit different right now. The view is kinda bugged, but just click on the Download Community 2019 button. This way it will download you the Visual Studio 2019. Then just install this one. And this can take a few minutes. So once you reach this window, make sure to check the C++ development thing. Then go inside individual components and search for 132x64. This way you should see something named Mitigated Spectral Library latest, and we will need this one. Then scroll down a bit, also make sure that this is checked, which should be default checked. And in SDKs, make sure to check also the latest MFC library for Spectra. So all these 3 checkboxes are checked, and then you can just hit install. So this can take a while now. On some computers this may take 20 minutes or more. Based on your internet speed and your computer speed, this can be faster. And while this is installing, you can go back to the SDK website. Also, this website should look different, like this, but right now also the view is kind of bugged, so make sure to find the version 2004 if you have Windows 10. If you have Windows 11, you can also install this one, I guess. So we just hit install SDK at version 2004 and click save. And then we install this one. You can also install the SDK version while Visual Studio is installing. So inside here you want to also check the Windows SDK signing tool for desktop apps and also the Windows SDK for desktop C++ x86 apps. Then just click download. So once the software development kit has been installed, you can just click close. And now we have to wait until Visual Studio finished installing. So once Visual Studio finished, you can go to this website, and we also need the Windows driver kit. And in my case, I need the same version as the SDK. So I downloaded the version 2004 for the SDK. So I will also need the Windows driver kit version 2004. So I just click on this version here. And then really make sure that Visual Studio finished installing and nothing is loading anymore. If that is the case, you can continue with the Windows driver kit. Otherwise, wait until Visual Studio finished and then install it. So here we just click next and next again and accept. Once the Windows driver kit finished, you will get this message here. Make sure install Windows driver kit Visual Studio extension is checked. And if you don't get this message, you probably did something wrong. For example, you installed the Windows driver kit while Visual Studio was not finished yet. So if that's the case, make sure that Visual Studio has finished, then restart your computer and then install the Windows driver kit again. Because if you don't get this message, it won't install the Windows driver kit extension for Visual Studio, which is necessary in order to compile the driver. Then just close it, and after that the Visual Studio extension installer will open up and install the Windows driver kit for Visual Studio. So after that, go inside your Cheat Engine folder, and this time go inside dbk kernel and open up the dbk kernel.sln file. Once Visual Studio finished loading, you can see the project here, and you can expand the view with the arrow. Also expand the view in the driver files filter, and inside here, just double click on dbk64.inf. So inside this file, you can change the name of the Cheat Engine driver, which is dbk64, to the driver name that we choose before. So go back inside the Cheat Engine folder and Cheat Engine again, and inside the dbk32 folder, if you remember correctly, we changed inside this file the name of the driver. So before it was dbk32 and I changed it to mynewdriver64. So make sure that you change the driver name inside Visual Studio to the same driver name that you have inside this file. So in my case, I will replace all strings that are dbk64 to mynewdriver64. I just copy this and go back inside Visual Studio. Then I hit replace, which is ctl and h. Then I enter dbk64 and enter mynewdriver64 and hit replace all. So as you can see, all 31 strings named dbk64 have been renamed with mynewdriver64, and this way the driver is completely renamed now. So we have also to change the manufacturer name from Cheat Engine to something random. I just use mynewdriver and also 64. And Before we compile it yet, we also have to go inside the project options, just click right click on DBK kernel, options, and inside here, make sure this says release without SIG and this one says x64. Now you can change the target name here also to the same name that was inside the file, which is also in my case my new driver. Then we go to build events, and inside here we go to post build events, and you will see this comment line here, and just remove all of this and hit apply. Now if everything worked, you can change this to release without SIG and this to x64 and just build it. So in case you get this error message, just click right click on the project again and go into options, driver signing and general. Inside here you can click on the test certificate and click create test certificate. Then hit apply, press OK and try to build again. So as you can see, everything compiled without issues. Then just close Visual Studio again. So now that we have the Cheat Engine driver compiled, if we go inside Cheat Engine and inside the bin folder, you will find the my new driver 64SYS inside here, which means that it worked and we have the driver now inside our folder. So, and if we try to attach Cheat Engine to the game now, using the driver, we will have to go inside Edit, Settings, and make sure that in extras all these checkboxes are checked. I don't know why this is blank right now. Normally you should see some text here. Also make sure to go inside debugger options and change it to kernel mode debugger. If you press yes now, you will get this error message which basically says that the driver failed to load due to signing issues. This basically means that the driver that we just compiled doesn't use any certificate. Microsoft doesn't allow you to just compile or code your own driver without paying anything, so you would have to pay $100 for a certificate and then you compile your driver using that certificate. This way you are also able to start the driver without any issues and any error messages. But in our case we have an error and we don't have $100 for a certificate, so we will use a different method. One method would be to disable test signing in your boot menu, but the issue with that is that most anti-cheats require test signing to be enabled. So if we disable test signing in our boot menu, we are able to run the driver, but we won't be able to start games that use anti-cheats anymore. So we are kinda in a dilemma right now, because either we are not able to start the game or we are not able to start the driver. So in order to bypass the test message, we can use this bypass here, which is Efiguard. So how does this bypass work? Well, you basically drag and drop a folder to your USB stick, then you boot from that USB stick. This way patch guard and driver signature enforcement will be disabled. Then you can run the driver without any issues, then you enable driver signature enforcement again, and then you are also able to run the game. So what you have to do, click on this Efiguard here, then go to efiguard.zip and download this one. Just drag and drop it to your desktop, it looks like this. And make sure to get a USB stick that has at least 2 GB of memory. And before you just drag and drop this folder to your USB, make sure that your USB is formatted with FAT. So press Windows and X and go to your disk management. And in here you will find your USB. And before you do anything right now, make sure that you don't have anything on your USB, because everything will be removed from your USB now. So right click on the volume that is the USB, in my case this is this one. Then we click on volume delete or delete volume and press yes. Then we create a new simple volume and press next, next again, next, and make sure this says FAT. If it doesn't say FAT, you can also use FAT32, but in my case I use FAT. Then we press next again and finish. After that we can just close this again. Then open up your USB stick, go inside your USB and drag and drop this folder inside your USB stick. Now also go inside that folder, go and boot, and inside here make sure to delete the loader.config.exe file and rename this loader.exe file to bootx64. Alright, that's it. So now what you have to do is just restart your computer, go inside your boot menu, and if you don't know how to get there, just Google for it, how to get in my boot menu. Most of the time you just restart your computer and press F2 or F12, then boot from your USB stick. Then you will see a green command prompt. Don't get scared by that, this is completely fine. And after that it will just load normally into your Windows. So after you restarted your computer using Efiguard and the USB stick, make sure to go inside the Efiguard folder again and don't start Cheat Engine yet, otherwise you will get the same error message about the unsigned driver as before. So open up command prompt with admin permissions and we want to navigate inside this folder, so I just copy the path, enter cd, enter the path. This way we get inside this path and then enter efi dsefix.exe -d. So this way the driver signature enforcement will be disabled, and now if we open up Cheat Engine, then we are able to also open the Cheat Engine driver again. So I just open up Cheat Engine, then I go inside settings and extras. Make sure that all these 4 options are enabled and also change it to use kernel mode debugger. And now you should see this dbk64 loaded sign, which basically means that the driver has been loaded. So this way we are able to load the driver even though it is unsigned. So if we try to start a game now, which is using Battleeye or EasyAnticheat, you will get an error message which basically says that test sign mode is not supported. This is because we just disabled driver signature enforcement using the bypass, and then you will get this error message. So in order to fix that, all we have to do is enter the same command again, but instead using -d at the end we enter -e to enable driver signature enforcement again. So it has been re-enabled now, and if you try to start it now, you will see that it's working fine without any issues. So basically what this bypass does is it allows you to disable driver signature enforcement. Then you can just run the driver. After that you enable driver signature enforcement again, and then you can start the game. And now if we attach Cheat Engine to the game, you will see that we are able to read the memory fine. We can also search for values and also change these values. So we are able to read and write to the game just fine. And there are 2 issues left though. One issue is that we are not able to read the module name. So for example, if someone posts the offset for SpeedTech, we won't be able to just enter that by daylight and then the offset 150 for example, because we will get this is not a valid address errors. There's one simple fix for that. Just go to this website and credits to compiled code for his Lua script. Just copy it. And then go inside Tools, Lua Engine, paste it inside this field here and press execute. Now what you have to do is just reattach Cheat Engine to the game, and you will see that all module names are shown now. Sometimes if you try to reattach Cheat Engine to the game after executing the Lua script, Cheat Engine may freeze. So if that happens, go back inside this field or just restart Cheat Engine, and before you press execute, next time remove this line here and replace it with for I equals 1 and then enter for example 150. So basically what this does is it scans for 150 modules, and if you know that your game has many modules, you can even increase that number to something like 250 or 500, but I doubt that a game would have more than 100 modules, so I just leave it at 100, and this way the script should also work just fine. And then press execute and reattach Cheat Engine to the game. So this way we are also able to read the module names. And the second issue that we have is that we are still not able to debug the game. We are still not able to toggle a breakpoint because we will use the DBVM, the hypervisor, and we don't have the hypervisor yet. And we are also not able to find out what is accessing a certain address, because this will also need the hypervisor, the DBVM, which we also still not have. So all we need now is the hypervisor, and we actually don't have to compile it ourselves because the normal Cheat Engine hypervisor is working fine and is not blocked by anti-cheats, because hypervisor usually has more or a higher access level than the kernel anti-cheats. and this way the hypervisor will also be able to read from the game's memory. If you want to compile the hypervisor yourself, I will link a video by ScriptDaddy in the description below. He already showed how this works, but as already said, this will not be necessary for us. We can use the default hypervisor from Cheat Engine, which is also working fine. I will just upload the hypervisor as a single file, and you can download this file and just copy this file and paste it inside the Cheat Engine bin folder, where also the Cheat Engine program and the driver is inside, so just paste it inside here. Now if we open up Cheat Engine again, then we go inside Edit, Settings, and also again make sure that these 4 settings are checked, and then Debugger Options, change it to use DBVM Level Debugger and press OK. So to actually activate the hypervisor, you have to go inside Help, press About, and here you have to press on Your System Supports DBVM. If your system doesn't support DBVM, you can try a few things. Just go to Windows and search for Windows features, and you will find this little window here. Then scroll down and make sure that Windows Sandbox is disabled, Windows Hypervisor Platform is also disabled. Scroll up a bit and make sure that Hyper-V is also disabled. So after that, just click on Your System Supports DBVM, click on it and press Yes. This way you will see your system is running DBVM version 16 and you can press OK. So now our hypervisor is running, and if we attach Cheat Engine to Dead by Daylight now again, and again we are not able to see the module names, so we would have to do the Lua engine thing again. I just want to do that now. So this time we are able to debug the game. We can also toggle a breakpoint, as you can see. So this will take a few seconds to attach to the game. You will get this message here, just wait until it finished loading. This can take up to a few seconds. And now as you can see, we are actually able to toggle breakpoints. And if we want to find out what is accessing a certain address, we are also able to just do that, and also able to find out what is writing to an address. So we are basically able to do everything with Cheat Engine now, even though that the Anticheat is still running, using the hypervisor from Cheat Engine and a Lua script. So a short recap for you: if you restart your computer and did all these steps, just make sure that you boot your computer using the USB stick, then go inside the Efiguard folder, make sure to use command prompt to disable the driver signature enforcement using this program here. Then launch Cheat Engine and start the driver or the hypervisor, whatever you want. Then make sure to re-enable driver signature enforcement using this program and CMD again. Then you can launch the game that you want to cheat in. After that you can also use the Lua script to get the module names if you want to. And that's basically all you have to do in order to bypass anti-cheats using Cheat Engine. So thanks for watching until now, and if you have any questions or improvement ideas, leave a comment below. If it was helpful for you, also feel free to leave a like, and if it wasn't, feel free to leave a dislike. I will be back with another video soon. Until then, have a great time.